Good morning. Welcome to the Science of Mind class here at CSLDallas. I'm Dr. Petra Willis, and we are carrying on with our reading in the Science of Mind. So we're on page 151. We're in the middle of the page. We're talking about prayer. Eventually, we will talk more detailed about spiritual mind treatment, which is our form of prayer or our form of intentional manifestation. But right now this is more of a generalized conversation about our interaction with the infinite, really. Our interaction with the one mind, with God, with that infinite reality, which is ultimately what most people use the word prayer for. Right? What is our interaction? Not just describing our relationship, but what is our interaction with that larger reality? And so again, we are using these terms, maybe not in the same way that we would use them from a traditional viewpoint. So we're constantly remembering the context in which we're having these conversations, which is a metaphysical understanding of the nature of reality, and our understanding of who and what we are. And so we're constantly trying to embrace a larger experience of that, a larger reality of that. So here we are in the middle of this page. We're going to, so it's so interesting that this particular paragraph that we're going to talk about, it actually came up in our Wednesday night conversation last week. Oh, it was juicy. Okay, God, Spirit, the One, whatever we're going to use for that term, right? That infinite reality manifests itself through all individuals. Okay, that seems like a reasonable statement, right? Life manifests through all individuals. No two people are alike, right? We know that, just like no two snowflakes are alike, no two blades of grass are alike, no two people are alike. So that's what we mean by an individualized expression, an individuated expression of the one. So no two people are alike, and we should stop trying to be normal. Each lives in mind. Each contacts it through their own mentality in an individual way, drawing from it a unique expression of its divine nature. So let me read the next sentence. We're going to talk about it. So here's an example. If one makes themselves receptive to the idea of love, we become lovable. Okay, but so to the degree that we embody something like love, we are love. So people who love are loved. Whoever becomes receptive to the idea of peace, poise, and calm, whoever embodies these divine realities finds them flowing through him or her, and they become peaceful, poised, and calm. So the heart of this sentence, of this paragraph here, is we are each drawing from the infinite something slightly different because we're unique. We're drawing love, we're drawing peace, we're drawing poise, but we're each going to do it uniquely. We're not trying to be, well, besides normal, we're not trying to be perfect. We're not trying to do it like anybody else does it. We're not trying to pretend that we're peaceful like the Buddha. No, we're going to be peaceful the way that we express that peace. Some people express that peace by sitting in meditation. Others express that peace by finding their center in painting. Others express that peace by being the perfect container for a bunch of little kids that are running around like maniacs. Right? Do you see? And so this is why this becomes so important, that we are each unique. And we are drawing this infinite in, and as we are receptive to what we are drawing in, we are we are expressing that. So we are both drawing and being receptive. Sometimes I think what we do is we wait, and we wait for spirit to pour itself into us. Right? Well, I'm going to wait for spirit to be that for me. No. As me, we're the ones that are drawing. We're the ones that are responsible for our receptivity. Yeah, so let's look at this next paragraph then. So now we're going to describe this. There is a place in us which lies open to the infinite. But when the Spirit brings its gift by pouring itself through us, it can give to us only what we take. So we have to be the place for it. We have to be the one who is claiming peace, claiming poise. We can't be running around like a maniac and then say, well, Spirit's going to give me peace. Do you see? We're the ones that are deciding to be open, to be receptive, and to draw it into ourselves, to draw it, well, let's say, if Spirit is already always pouring itself into the universe, right, we're drawing it in through our uniqueness. That's why this whole idea that we're unique. We're drawing it in through our uniqueness. And then we need to be receptive to it. So we can draw in peace or poise or love and then not be receptive to it because we don't think we're worth it. We, are always feeling like we're doing it wrong. Whatever it is that we're using then to not be receptive to the very thing that we want to draw into ourselves. Do you see? And the only switch is on our end. Do you see what I'm saying? That's what it's the only switch is on our end. Spirit is forever, life is forever pouring itself into life and wants only to express and to experience life. And so this place in us which lies open to the infinite is, of course, our essential self. It is that being that we are, that is individualized, that is sourced from that infinite, that is seeking to express itself as us. Not just through us, but as us. If we persist in saying that life will not give us that which is good, it cannot. For life must reveal itself to us through our intelligence. The pent-up energy of life and the possibility of further human evolution work through our imagination and will. Do you see? So this is why sometimes I have a little bit of a challenge when people say, well, I'm just going to wait for the download. I'm just going to wait for Spirit to download something. Spirit is forever always downloading something all the time. And it is life itself. It is the infinite of love and peace and power and joy and beauty and presence and order and harmony. But do you see, it has no specificity. We're the ones who give it specificity. So that which we call a download is actually that undifferentiated infinite pouring itself through our very uniqueness. We're the ones who are shaping that which is coming in. So it's not Spirit so much that's downloading it. It's that we're receptive to the unique way in which we are drawing from the infinite. Do you see? And it comes through, he uses the word intelligence. We would say it comes through our mind. Or let's be really clear. It comes through our psyche. The Greeks understood that our psyche was our conscious mind, our subconscious mind, our emotional state, our energetic state, right? The psyche is our individuation, way more than just the ego. The psyche is our individuation, which doesn't just mean, when he says intelligence, it doesn't just mean my cerebral, rational idea about it. We make this mistake over and over and over again. That is not what's being talked about here. We have heart intelligence, we have mind intelligence, our subconscious is intelligent, our bodies are intelligent. It's the whole thing as it draws through us, as we're drawing it through us. That download is the unique way in which we are capturing this pouring of spirit, this impress. And part of what we do in our work, in our spiritual work, and what Ernest Holmes is talking about here is that we own it. We own it. We accept it. We are recognizing that this is the answer to our prayer. But again, we're the only one that's got the switch. I love what Ernest Holmes says somewhere. We're probably going to come to it. I think it's in Causes and Conditions. I can't remember exactly. He's going to talk about it. He's going to say, nowhere on the shelf in the mind of God is there a little airplane. And that somebody downloaded the instructions to an airplane. No. What's in the infinite mind are the laws that govern aerodynamics. And the laws that are the cornerstone of the space-time continuum. And the desire to keep evolving, to keep expressing. So when people started to work with that, if we, think about the Wright brothers, right? They didn't download the idea of a plane. They began to realize that these things were available and possible, and they began experimenting with it. Their own imagination and will began to play with these intangible truths to create something that began to resemble what we know today as airplanes. And began to see how to use the laws, right? And so I think that we just want to be thoughtful about how much, what do we want to say? How much we still believe that somehow God is going to do it for us. I'm going to download it from Spirit, which is really not that much different than it's the will of God. I'm just making myself, available to the will of God. The will of God that is just to be you, to become whatever it is that is uniquely yours to express and experience. Do you see? And so we get to, right, we want to start recognizing that in prayer, we're the ones who are shaping it. We're the ones who are accepting it. We're the ones who are drawing from the infinite. We're the ones who are shifting our experience or an understanding of the nature of reality so that we can move to this point where we are speaking our co-creative word, which is what we're going to get to when we talk about spiritual mind treatment. Yeah. And of course, we move into that place of being in the flow where us being drawing and receptive becomes so natural that it just feels like it's in the flow. But we have to remember that it's not Spirit choosing for us. It's not Spirit deciding for us. That's what it means for us to be individuals and for us to have the ability to choose and intend and decide and then to act. All right, I want to stop there and see where this is landing with you. Thoughts you have about it, questions you have about it. We certainly immediately have one here in the room. We'll look forward to having those of you online. It was a little quiet online last week, so get your hands up early.
Say what? You mean my online chat bots don't want to engage?
It's a little quiet on. I think they missed you, Ryan. Welcome back,
goodness.
Ryan. We're happy you're here. We want to say a huge thank you to Joseph. He did a great job, but we are happy to have you back at the helm.
Oh, I'm glad to be back, and hello to everybody here in the room. And welcome to everybody here online all over the globe. I'm glad that you are in community with us. I see that we actually have Armando raising his hand.
Yay!
So. Thanks for stepping to the plate, Armando. We'll get to you here in a second. So for those who are joining us on Zoom, you can hit the raise your hand icon located down below, just like Armando did, or you can always put your questions and comments inside of the chat. And hello, and hola, and I
talk and
I learned another one while I was out there. I went to France, and so I learned bonjour.
bonjour.
Bonjour, everybody.
Bonjour. Yep. And yes, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yes.
Swastiastu from Bali.
There- I'm not going to recreate that one, but yes, what Petra said. So we're glad to have everybody all over the globe joining us on Facebook, and make sure you put your questions and comments inside of the chat, and we can bring that into the room. And I always love to acknowledge that we keep those as a secret who sent them, so that way we can continue to have a safe container for spiritual growth. I see Darlene, you had your hand raised, and then we'll go over here to Armando. Sound
Great.
good? All right.
Thanks. Good morning.
Two words are hitting me: inductive and deductive. And how does that relate? And if it doesn't, just move on. Don't waste time with it. But I think, I don't know, does that relate to what you're talking about?
Yeah, it does. And for those of us who are going to come to my Troward class at the end of the month on consciousness and the creative process, we'll talk about it. And in the Science Mind, we will revisit inductive and deductive reasoning. So we'll do a short introduction: inductive reasoning and deductive reasoning. Deductive reasoning is that you deduce a principle from various facts, individual facts. You make a deduction, and you don't actually ever question the facts. So a classic example of deductive reasoning is: my neighbor's cat is white, my neighbor's cat is deaf, therefore all white cats are deaf. Right? There's no opportunity to have any inquiry into is it true. Inductive reasoning always helps me remember that inductive reasoning means that you can inquire. You can inquire into the truth of the statements that are being given to you, that you are using. You can inquire into the result. Is it actually the result that is wanted, right? And so, Darlene, as you're pointing out, right, the universe, spirit, when we're doing this work, spirit only uses deductive reasoning. So, whatever facts we give that infinite power and presence, that's what it's going to use to create, regardless of whether it's true or not. I'm building a new business. I'm not good at math. I'm stupid about spreadsheets. I'm going to build a new business. That the universe cannot inquire into the truth whether or not you actually can't do math, whether or not you can't learn about spreadsheets. And the result may very well be growing a new business in which the finances and the processes are in turmoil, because that's the result of that which we are holding in consciousness. Do you see what we're drawing in is exactly what we are being receptive to? What I'm drawing in is being circumscribed by what I'm receptive to. And the universe God cannot ask a question: is this true? So this is where the individuation comes in. We're the ones who can ask the question: is what I'm thinking or feeling about this, is it true? Right? Byron Katie, is it true? Is it really, really true? Right? Which is ultimately, is that true from a deeply spiritual point of view? It might have been true from my past. It might have been true from what I was told, but it's not ultimate truth in any way. And so we can inquire into it, which then allows us to shape more openly what we're drawing and what we're receptive to. Do you see? We can We can say, oh no, I'm good at finances, or I'm able to teach myself finances, or I don't have to be afraid of money, or I'm going to build my business and I'm not going to be afraid of money, and I expect it to work out, and right. So I'm building an entirely more open level of receptivity to that which I am drawing in. Did I say that in a way that made sense to you? Yes. Right, and this is why, and inductive reasoning goes with inquiry, and just now, for the very first time, I'm realizing it goes with individuation. It is only in the individualized expression where inquiry into the truth of something can actually be done. Otherwise, the universe is just deducing. It's just, and then it's creating and creating out of whatever input it's given, right? From the universal point of view, that input is always perfect, because what else does it have to draw from but itself? But the things that we're inputting into it, of course, can be limited by false beliefs and our sense of separation and all the other ways in which we tell ourselves things that aren't true, that aren't both humanly true, but more importantly, aren't spiritually true. So, when you hear about inductive and deductive reasoning, don't worry. It's easy to understand, and it's really important.
You know what? This is a totally off the subject, but you don't know this, but me, Dr. Peacher, and Richard are all matching right now.
We are. Look at that.
Us. Isn't that crazy? I know those folks online can't see it, but we did not plan it. All right, I'm going to go ahead and head over to Armando.
Okay.
Armando, do you want to go ahead and unmute yourself and join us?
Good morning, Armando.
Good morning, Dr. Peacher. Well, this is a perfect topic. Normal and perfectionism. I think I often share about my peaks, which is like CSLDallas and manifestations and how I apply things. Yet at the same time, I am in a valley right now, that low valley, and I don't really share a lot about when I am in a valley. I can say that my valley is not as deep, low as it used to. That there are signs within my health that is affecting me, and I keep ignoring it. And I keep thinking, well, I'll just pray it away, so to speak. It'll just go away because I'm busy manifesting and I'm busy doing all these other things. And that somehow, and what I'm realizing more and more is that yesterday my intuition told me, okay, you connected all the dots and you need to call your doctor. I did, and I landed in the ER. Yesterday, and so I'm taking it easy today.
Good.
And the point is that, you know, I can ask for the prayer, I can ask to pray, but I also have to do my part, which is to listen to my intuition, to listen to those whispers that keep showing me some signs that something isn't right in my body. And I mean, you know, I know that there's a lot of anxiety and whatnot, especially with this administration, and it's impacted, you know, the entire country. But that carried on. And, but I'm not in a woe's me or a poor's me.
Yes.
Or the Liberty administration is doing, you know, it's not any of that. It's just, I'm just kind of waiting I just keep treating and knowing that I'm going to get back to that peak again, and it's just a matter of time. But I think it's important also for me to share about the low points, but my low points are not like they used to be. That's the great.
Yes.
I hope that makes sense. But
absolutely.
I feel like I have to do this too. I can't just pray it and treat it. I've got to step into it. And I'm so grateful that I get to listen to my intuition like I've never had before. I feel like I'm very in sync. And I just chose not to act on it because I just was busy wanting to get to the peak.
Right.
And part of getting to the peak is also taking care of myself and making sure that I'm healthy, you know, mentally fit, physically fit, and spiritually fit. And I need to pay a little bit more attention to being more physically fit. That will feed into you being mentally and and
Yes.
continue to be physically, spiritually fit. And I think the last thing is, I think that part of the fear of letting go of my health signs, because that is what will keep me above the law of averages. Letting go of that fear. Oh my gosh, what may happen? Thank you for letting me share.
Yes, thank you, Armando. I just love that you share that. You know, sometimes I find it really fascinating that sometimes when we're at a low point are the very times that people stop coming, they stop getting supported because we feel like we should always be at that peak, we should always be manifesting, everything should be rolling around long, and we're afraid that if we say, wait, I'm in a low point right now, that somebody's going to diss our consciousness. And we are not designed in the space-time continuum to have the pedal to the metal all the time. We're just not. We are designed for rhythm and flow and balance. And what happens if we're in the peak all the time, the peak becomes the norm, and it's not a peak anymore. Right? And so I love that you said that your lows aren't as low. And I think that's what happens, right? The whole scale lifts. But it's not that our lives shouldn't oscillate. Because if our lives aren't oscillating, we've flatlined, right? And flatlining is death. Flatlining is stagnation. And so the oscillations are great. They make us know that we're fully alive and fully engaged. And I also love that you said, I just thought, well, I'm just going to keep working with my manifestations and I'm just going to ignore it. We call that an inappropriate use of denial. We do not deny that when we're aware of, our intuition is kicking in saying, wait, we're not paying attention to something. When we're aware of something that it's not this, I'm going to not look at it, I'm not going to look at it. That's not what denial is, right? What denial is we look directly at it and we say, this is not the spiritual truth of me. This experience that I'm having is not the spiritual truth of me. Therefore, my body absolutely already has this intelligence that he talked about, this intelligence to say, I need rest, I need different food, I need a supplement, I need medication, I need whatever I need, right? If we are a wholeness, the body is included. And what I notice from sometimes our spiritual work is that a lot of people come in to spiritual work and they're basically living from the head up, excuse me, which is they're figuring it out. They're worried, they're controlling, they're trying to do all this, right? And everything is from here up. And so then we hear, well, I got to live from the heart. I got to live from the heart. I got to live from the heart. Great. So now we're living from here up, right? Which is great, but all of our lower chakras are missing. And that basically means our embodied experience of our life and our body and the joy of actually being embodied is missing. And the embodiedness is... Do I want to say this? I think so. The embodiedness of us is where we get to revel in our imperfections, which is what makes us unique, quirky, weird, and our own personal selves, right? Rather than always striving for perfect love, perfect peace, perfect joy, perfect balance, perfect... We're embodied, at this point we're embodied, we're individualized expressions of the divine, and we are embodied in this physical form, in this physical universe. And everything shows us that the physical universe is changing. That's its fundamental nature. It is constantly changing, and therefore it is imperfect. It's not static. It's never going to stay the same. And so we sometimes use our spirituality to manifest a bunch of stuff, and then we want to keep it that way. Don't move, don't breathe, don't change. And then when it changes, it's a big shock, or it becomes a challenge that we seek to ignore I'm just going to keep manifesting. No, that's part of the wholeness of our unique experience, right? And so these are all really important things. And sometimes that's just the perfect time to be here at CSL Dallas, to be on our live streams, to be in our classes, so that we can be reminded of this spiritual truth and we can be held in love while we're in that more low point. Or we're a little anxious about something. It doesn't mean that we're doing anything wrong. And I loved what Armando said. I'm in a low point and I'm doing my spiritual work and I'm waiting for the turnaround because I know the turnaround is coming. I know the lift is coming, something new, something, whatever it is, or I'm attracting exactly what I need, or I'm drawing to me exactly what is required, all of that. And so I'm just allowing allowing it to unfold. But it's not pretending that what's going on doesn't exist, because it is a real experience. It may not be spiritually truth in the absolute, but it is a very real experience that we're having. And this is why then we are in community, so we can hang together and be together and, share the ups and downs. And sometimes it seems to me we hang around in the past with lots of people who only want to be in the downs. Then we get into spirituality, and then we want to be with only people who are going to be in the up. Like, wait, it's the life. It's the life. It's just lifing. Life will always be lifing. All right, I saw some hands here, 1, 2, and 3. So we can start here, and then Ryan, if we have comments out there online, you can let me know.
Sure, we'll come here into the room, and then we'll go as needed.
So hi, I'm Denise, and I did flatline last year. I was doing my spiritual work. I was in Inward Journey, finished that, and like Armando, my intuition was telling me that something was happening, but I was living from here up, didn't want to pay attention, and then it happened. And I had a major heart event. And so I spent 8 weeks in the hospital and another 8 weeks in rehab. And I will tell you, this shit works.
Yeah.
Because TSRW, in case, as we say, I just decided I'm whole, perfect, and complete. And between my own work, I did go into practitioner, so that helped. But with the practitioners who were coming to see me, the people who were treating for me, and I treated for myself, a year later, I will be on stage this morning singing.
Yay! I love that.
I still have a little bit of shortness of breath. I walk with a cane because I had to learn to walk again. And I'm telling you, when you stay in the practice, it's not that you ignore what's happened. I was very present in my body, believe me. And I knew that was not my truth.
Yes. Which has allowed you to move through it with grace.
Good.
Thanks, Denise. Okay, back here, and then we'll come up here.
Hi, I'm Brenda, and I'm the poster child to carry on for this. So, for those who don't know me, I came into Science of Mind on the verge of radical neurosurgery, which left me with some debility, followed by a brain injury in 21, which took away my ability to drive. And starting Inward Journey, was diagnosed with a brain disease that began really applying using this, prayer, spiritual coaches, classes, mentoring, and ended up with a normal PET scan. I did the same with the subsequent lung nodule between Inward Journey and practitioner training. And in practitioner training, those of you who know me, in February I blew a disc and was bedbound starting in February, and in April I had neurosurgery. And I could feel, I called in all the resources. It was like Spirit grabbed me by the back of the neck like a little kitten and shook me and said, do you see? Do you see? Because I'd gotten really good at manifesting healing. And then it hit me I needed to go and live from beyond the healed state. And then I got a few opportunities to say, really? Had I really believed it and embodied it? And living from the head up, I could not think my way into the heart.
Right.
I am very kinesthetic. And I had spent a lifetime dissociated from my body, from whatever means I could, distraction, all of the various ways that we do that. And I learned that playing ostrich, burying my head in the sand, only leaves a great big bullseye.
Yes, that's exactly right.
Great big bullseye. And the prayer support was palpable for about 2.5 weeks.
Right.
My neurosurgery is healing better than expected. Symptoms from the first neurosurgery are improving. Symptoms from the brain injury are improving. I'm going, wow! And my practitioners and coaches are saying, well, yeah, of course. You know, which just blows me away, just very calmly, because spirit doesn't know healing one part or another. So my issue was receptivity, accepting and receiving. And I knew in my head the truth. And I'd experienced that in my heart. And what finally came to me is accepting is merely the unification step of spiritual mind treatment.
Yeah.
And receiving and expressing and embodying is the realization step. Life is prayer. Life is answered prayer over and over again, and opening to that wholeness. And having it happen as releasing of some of my trauma body memories. And having the experience of spiritual wholeness and oneness filter down like through a porous sand, like washing out, just like we have to replace our old thoughts with new thoughts. We have to replace our body experiences with the joy of being alive. So I'll end with an earnest quote from a couple days ago. I'm not going to get it complete, but you must have the will to heal, to live happy, and to live in joy.
Yay, thanks, Brenda. Lovely. Thank you so much. And again, over and over and over again, denial, it doesn't work. The burying ourselves into spiritual truth doesn't work if we're using it to ignore what's going on. We aim it at what's going on deliberately, and then we have to do our acceptance work. And so often we misunderstand acceptance. We think acceptance means I just have to accept it the way it is. No. Acceptance means we have to accept, deeply accept, embody, fully realize the spiritual truth and accept that it is true for us. And sometimes it takes time in the space-time continuum. Sometimes it happens instantaneously, and sometimes the molecules of the universe have to be rearranged. And it is the constant practice, right, that becomes so important. All right, thanks so much, Brenda.
This is Ross.
Hi, Ross.
This is sort of true, mostly true, but not completely true. I've been being so successful in the recent months that I sort of felt intoxicated. That's not exactly true, but it's aimed that way. Then I'm sitting on top of all of this, and all these awful things I've done in the past started coming to me. And going, now wasn't I can't say I didn't condemn myself for them, because I probably am doing that. But they're not going away. I'm still sitting up here, and I don't know what to make of it. I keep telling myself that this is some part of me emphasizing me telling myself more truth. But it doesn't really quite make sense. But I don't know what to make of it.
Well, what happens when we start really having life work is the part of us that has been protecting us by making sure that we never stretch beyond what we know is reminding us of how it really has been. And it is, as to Brenda's point, it is an opportunity to accept the new reality. And there is that within us that is used to having it not work. We're actually more comfortable with the way it used to be than the good that we're having. And so those two things begin to somewhat occupy the same space. And so so for me, for years, my affirmation was just, I accept my good. I accept my good. I accept my good. I know. I accept my good. I accept my good. And all that's, but all that, and look at what happened in the past, and look at how you behaved in the past, and do you really deserve this? And, is it going to knock out from underneath you? All the stuff, right? That's our habituated thinking from a lifetime of experience. And then we have the other things. Well, is it really supposed to be this good? Well, now I'm a braggart because I'm at top. Now, what are people going to think, right? We can have as much discomfort with success as we do with wanting to get away from the old feelings that were uncomfortable. So this is not an uncommon experience, and it is the deeper and deeper acceptance that you are actually manifesting the outpicturing of your deepest truth and reality, unclouded by all that experience. And sometimes we have to look at that experience and we have to make amends for it, or we have to just accept that we behaved poorly, but we know better now. And the amazing thing is, unlike the way that we've been taught, the universe does not hold it against us. When we have put a new cause in motion, see, this is where the infinite does not do inductive reasoning. It doesn't say, well, Ross, I don't know, do you deserve all this good? Look at all the shitty things you did in the past, or whatever, right?
A lot of them too.
But see, it's a law. The law it's a universal principle. It doesn't inquire into that. It experiences the shift that you have made and is reflecting back that good. It's what's in our minds, right? As much as we draw to it our good, right? This is exactly what he says here. There's a place which lies open to the infinite, but when the Spirit brings its gift by pouring itself through us, it can give to us only what we take. This taking is mental. Life must reveal itself to us through our intelligence. This is what is the possibility for our evolution. Oh, here it goes. If one makes oneself receptive to the idea, then we draw it in and we receive it. And right now, the part of you that's having trouble receiving it and accepting it is that other part, is what's clouding it, right? And it's just false beliefs and old experiences. And we get to say to ourselves, but this is the new truth, right? New thought, new cause was a new cause was set in motion, and this is the new truth. And the universe can only say, yes, you're right, this is the new truth. So thanks for saying it, because it's not uncommon.
One last comment. Darlene and I were having a very brief conversation about criteria, and there's certain things that I don't even have to make decisions about anymore. The decisions are automatic, and I behave more appropriately.
Yes, and isn't that lovely, right?
It is.
Because we're retraining ourselves. You're retraining yourselves to be you're in alignment, which is really lovely. And then the new way of being becomes the habit. It's not like we're not going to have habits. We just want the way that we want to be the habit, not the old way. Beautiful. All right, so we're gonna remind you that we have a couple guest speakers coming up. We have Michael Brundy's going to speak next week. He's a member of our community for a long time. He's a fabulous storyteller. He's going to speak next week. And then we have Esther Nicholson coming the following week doing her talk. She's going to sing, do a workshop. It's truly amazing and wonderful to be in her presence. And then I'm starting my class on consciousness and the creative process at the end of June. So lots of things coming up. For those of you who are interested, we also have community meetings coming up in June. At the end of June, to talk about the transition CSLDallas is going through. Due to my upcoming retirement at the end of the year, it's an opportunity to just talk with each other, talk about what's going on. We have a lovely facilitator in Shauna Black, member of our community who's an executive coach and change management expert. And so, yeah, lots coming up. Please do see what's going on. And then, go ahead.
Oh, well, I just had a question for everybody and yourself, Dr. Petra. Do you like having fun?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Do you like making friends?
Yes.
Okay. Well, those two things are now open because Fun with Friends is here, and we are doing the bidding. It's a way for you to meet others. There's fun-themed dinner experiences. I'll say dinner experiences,
All
not all
kinds
of them are
of-
dinners.
Yep.
But there are fun experiences that you can bid on a seat to join those experiences, and those donations go to help your spiritual community here at CSL Dallas. So I just want to let folks know that bidding starts today. It will be happening all this month. So you can head over to our website, csldallas.org. Under the events tab, you'll see Fun with Friends. Click on there and it will take you right over to the bidding page.
Yeah, and get you some instructions on how to do the bidding, keep overbidding, the people that are bidding over you, right? And there are some really amazing opportunities, from hikes to painting to a little retreat out at Lake Caddo to all kinds of amazing things. So check out all 19 events, bid on as many as you want, and keep bidding until it closes at the end of June.
So last question here for you. Oh, Carmen, did you have something to say on that?
Yes.
Yeah,
and so
we have booklets here on campus for those who would like to take a look. And those who are online, obviously, just head over to the website. But lastly, I just wanted to ask the audience, who here enjoys soulful drumming accompanied by flutes? Oh, a couple people like soothing soundscapes? Well, you might want to join us here on June 6th, which is a Friday. We have Cornell Kinderconnect. I just had to check, make sure. And Martin McCall, who will be joining him with some light drumming. It's an experiential event, so we want you to be here. It's going to be a 90-minute of meditative, blissful music. You can just soak right into it.
So it's free it's a members and pledgers event. And for those of you who are neither a member or pledger, we just ask for a love offering. Please RSVP.
Absolutely.
So it's a very special, a gift to those of you who are members and pledgers of CSL Dallas.
Absolutely. So be here with us on June 6th, and that will close us out.
Yep. We'll see you soon. Bye for now.
All right.